We build, we grow, this land's our tower. Your community's voice is your community's power. Wake up curious with Dr. Miffy Ryan. Asking questions keeps the spirit flying. Wake up curious, the world's replying. Every day's a riddle worth untying.
It's Waking Up Curious with Miffy Ryan, and as a special treat today, I decided to get a bit curious about the art scene and what it's like if you move to the big city seeking your fortune. And I wanted to talk to somebody from a working class background about the barriers that might be presented, or if you feel like an interloper, or if you're somehow travelling perhaps into unfamiliar territory, or facing prejudices, or just any other reflections that you might have on class. So to help me do that today in my wanderings, I have Lira Bowles. Is that how I say your name? Is it Bowles?
Little Bowels, yeah.
Bowhill Bowles. Lira Bowhill Bowles with me, originally from Nottingham. Is that right, Lira?
Yes, yeah, I grew up in Nottingham.
So Trevor's sniggering because we've got magnetised microphones which both just like linked together, and we were like having this tussle over the mics. So that was the backstage giggling there. So Lyra, and yesterday when we were talking about class, you had some interesting things to say about how you felt in London whilst you've been there, in terms of being quite strongly aware of your working class roots. Is that correct?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, especially with the art school that I went to in London. I went to Central St Martin's, and I graduated last year in summer. And it's just like, it was just like a different world, really. It was insane. It was such a mental place to try and ground yourself in as a working class person, I think. Yeah.
So when you talk about difference, what were the differences that you noticed? How did you feel different in that art school environment? In this, so Central St Martin's, for those of you that don't know, is bang slap in the middle of London. It's near Oxford Street. It's near the super busy touristy parts. It's hectic. A lot of fashion students go there. It's very aspirational. It's one of the top art colleges in the country. Yeah. So that's just for those of you that don't know. So tell me about the differences you noticed, Lyra.
So when I went there, I was obviously, I was all excited to like meet so many different people and think like, this is one of the best art schools in the UK. Like, surely there's going to be so many different people from so many different walks of life and stuff, and because that's how it was. I went to college in Nottingham, and it was all different. It was great. There was like always people to talk to about different experiences and stuff. But I feel like very quickly when I went to CSM, I felt I could count, for the whole time I was there, I could count the amount of working class people I knew on one hand, and it felt so isolating, and like you're getting to know everybody, having all these conversations with people, and very quickly there was this thing that I noticed of people pretending to be working class, which is something that I'd never really encountered before until I moved to London and went to CSM, and these people that they're fabricating this struggle for themselves to make themselves seem more authentic, which it just makes you angry, and it makes you want to put all your walls up, and it makes you want to just slap them in the face a bit. Like, and I remember this one conversation actually I had with this person, and I was talking about how my mum's benefits got cut short, and because I decided to go on a foundation course in Nottingham, and it was like this big stress of trying to find money, and like, you know, me and my sisters had to help get it all together, and we had to sell loads of stuff, and it was like this big stress, you know.
Yeah.
And just because I wanted to access higher education to do art, and I was telling this person about it, and he said, yeah, but like, you make it look really cool though.
Well, you're doing well here to not be libelous, like mentioning no names, so well done. You know who you are, you know who you are.
Literally. And it just absolutely infuriated me that I've tried to have a conversation with this person about how, like, talking about my barriers of trying to access art education as a working class person, that's the first thing that they say back to me is that I made it look cool. Like, I'm not trying to make it look cool, it's just the things that I'm going through is the things that I can't access that they can. And then I ended up living with this person actually as well for a little bit.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and you know, their parents would pay their rent for them, didn't have to get a job, you know, weren't on benefits or anything, weren't always like, you know, scrapping for money every month to get things together and everything. But they still wanted that. They still wanted some sort of struggle to, you know, seem like, I think it's like they think it's some sort of authenticity, but it's just this horrible mask that like middle and upper middle class people try and put on. I find it embarrassing, to be honest, when I see it. Like, I don't know, and there's just so many different people like that through my time in CSM, and meeting other people.
Do you see this as well, Trevor? Is this your like lived experience as a working?
Yeah, I see it all the time. There seems to be a you know, a hype in pretending you have that struggle, when I don't understand. Like, if you've got successful parents that are paying your rent, you know, that's something to scream about. Do you get what I'm saying to you? You know, yeah. But you know what? You know, I've seen over the years people. I've seen. How can I say about? I'm just trying to think how to say it. Like,
That's all right, mate.
I can say.
Okay, yeah. I think you can say it. It's for our radio, so I feel you can talk freely.
Okay. Well, you know, like, you know, I grew up with, you know, obviously I've not been the most straight-laced person growing up, and you know, I noticed, well, a few of us noticed there's been a few kids around us that, you know, after so long, you start realizing when you go and see the parents' homes and whatever else, you know, these kids really don't need to be out here like how we're out here. And they're getting themselves in all types of trouble, putting their parents in the same situation our parents are in. But we, you know, we seem to have to stay in the cells a little bit longer, do you know what I'm saying, compared to these people. But, you know, over the years, like, and it still baffles me now, like, why? And the only thing I can think about, is that there is a in-bed understanding on how respected you are if you come from a struggle. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And people really dream and want for that, instead of really respecting the moment that they're in. And the moment that they're in is that they got some amazing fucking parents. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, listen, you know, realistically, if I be real, you know, I never had Nike and Gucci and all them things growing up. Do you get what I'm saying to you? But you know, we wasn't poor. I just craved for what I wanted. Do you get what I'm saying to you? But so, you know, I'm one of them people as well. If I really respected the fact I got two working parents, do you get what I'm saying to you? You know, let me not give them the you know, I'll be real with you. I remember my dad saying to me one time, listen, I got two other kids. You know, if you're going to keep causing me problems, you're going to have to go. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Then this was when I was about 14, 15, and years later, told me when him and his him and my mum split up, that he had all types of he was about to lose a house mortgage, and I'm giving him all these problems as well, instead of respecting the type of parent I've got. Do you feel where I'm coming from? You know.
But there's a massive irony here. So the middle to upper classes want the authenticity that comes from a struggle, which they don't have necessarily if they, in some ways their lives have been privileged, but all our lives are, and there's always degrees of privilege, of course, which I think is what you're saying, Trevor. So they want some degree of authenticity and feel that they need some kind of struggle, so they don't present as superficial. But the irony here is like you come with that struggle and that authenticity, but has that actually helped you, Lyra, with your progress your art career? Has actually being authentic actually like so that's the irony, isn't it? So it's something that other people can appropriate to their advantage. So they have a narrative or they have authenticity, which they can use to their advantage. But then you're saying, but actually, if you are authentically from that position, it doesn't benefit you. So what's that about?
It's like they can dip in and out of it when they want to, you know what I mean? And almost like I've seen people like completely fabricate these struggles for themselves and like, you know, create all this stress for themselves when they can just ring up their mum and dad and it's fine. Whereas like, you know, I think about, like you know, I mean, no one in my family did art. That's not, you know, my mum wanted me to go out and get a job, and then I became disabled when I was like 14, 15. I have Crohn's disease, so like that wasn't really on the cards anymore. So I started getting benefits and stuff, and dropped out of school, and then I started doing art like just for myself and whatever, and then was kind of like, okay, if this is making you happy, then you know you want to go to college, and like, you know, all my other siblings dropped out of school, so she was kind of like, well, that's good, you know, you want to carry on your education and stuff, but like I like there was an understanding in Nottingham in college that like, you know, we're all coming from sort of like the same understanding of you know, we don't have all this luxury that other people get, and like we're working our way through. And then when I went to uni, it was just this completely other different world of people pretending that they have struggles, but then they can call up a family member or family friend and get an exhibition or get their work in a big gallery or something, you know what I mean? And then that furthers their career along and along. But
yeah, because
like,
this is something that's only just clicked for me recently. Because I went to I went off from Boundary Road in Mount Sorrel, which was rough. But I was moving between different like class backgrounds because my mum's parents, like her dad was a doctor, so that she had kind of left that world and chosen to enter this other world. Sorry, I'm eating chocolate. Kind of very. Sorry, everyone. It's morning. I just need my sugar hip. Lovely sunny morning here, by the way. Big up to the Casa Cafe.
London as well.
Is it sunny in London?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's nice.
But yeah, I only realised recently. In fact, I only realised this year because I've always been trying to get funded and knock on the door and like get my work shown and all of that. And I went to art college in London as well. Went to Goldsmiths in the 90s.
Yeah.
And everyone was having shows and there was all this stuff going on, and that's what you had to do. But I didn't know how they were doing it, and no one ever asked me to be in any of their shows.
Yes.
And they were always having these shows, but I was never invited to exhibit with them. And I didn't really know why. I suppose I wasn't making the right work. Milo, come here, mate. The work I was making wasn't resonating with them or whatever their scene was. I wasn't speaking the same language, but I didn't know what the language was. And I didn't know how they were always having these shows and why I was never included. Anyway, and then trying to do it independently or whatever and get funding, which I was never successful at because, again, without the words, without the language, you can't fill out the forms, you don't get the money. So if you can't articulate yourself in whatever way you're supposed to, then you're shut out, right? But then I realised that the reason they were all having all these shows all the time was because of money. So they must have had money behind them, and someone was paying for the spaces so they could hire these spaces, paying for them to advertise, whatever. So it was, and I realised, oh my God, if I had money, I can just go and put on an exhibition anywhere. I can hire any gallery out, and I can have a show. And that's what. Yeah, you can try and give him a treat. He might not have it. It's a bit fussy, but you can try. He might. Milo, sit then. Milo, sit. Be a good boy. Milo, paw. Yeah, he can just be a bit of a fuss-pot with food. Yeah, and so then I realised that that's what it was. That was the secret. That was the missing ingredient. That they had money behind them, and that's how they were getting that exposure. So.
And sorry. I was just going to say, it can feel really disheartening as well, can't it, when you have that realisation and, like, you have this expectation that, well, if I put in the hard work and if I keep going, then I can do that as well and I'll get these opportunities and stuff. But the horrible realization is that actually most of the time it's literally just a paywall barrier
Yes.
of
Yes.
those experiences and stuff. Like, I had the same feelings in uni, and I still do now as well, when like I remember thinking like, how on earth are all these people getting all these shows and getting, I look at all, because we had to submit portfolios every couple of months and stuff, and I'd just be like, how the hell does it look so like insanely like professional, quote unquote, and then I started realizing, oh, they just pay for it, then they can just hire out that space, get all their mates together, and that's it, and then that'll be it, and then they can put that on their CV and their portfolio, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, because I do drag as well, so that's like a very different way of networking and stuff. Like, you have, be in the scene, meeting the people, and like showing these people that they want to book you for performances and stuff. I feel like it's I feel it's a lot more like enriching and genuine than like an exhibition space.
Lira, do you think there's a lot more working class people in the drag scene?
Oh, 100%. Yes, 100%. Yeah, I think that's why I resonate with it more as well. And I just feel a lot more comfortable in those spaces. Like, I remember once actually a tutor told me in my first year, it was my last tutorial of the year, and she told me that I need to stop doing drag and I need to stop trying to pursue that because it's not as serious and it's not going to get me in the exhibition spaces and the galleries and whatever. And that I'm essentially like trying to sell myself out. And I still don't agree with what she said, and I couldn't really understand why she said that, because in my opinion, when I'm going to these events and these spaces and stuff, everyone is so much more kind and like wants to build like genuine spaces of community, and like this is definitely two different worlds I feel like I teeter in. Like, I have done some exhibitions and stuff in London, but I definitely do a lot more drag and performances and stuff, and the events are very, very different. The white wall cube spaces are always just a bit like, oh, okay, right, so I've got to go to this opening now because I have got my work there, so I should go.
Yeah, I mean, what we're talking about, Trevor, is in London there's a lot of galleries that are like white wall, it's very white clinical spaces. They're called white cube galleries. Okay, so a lot of like contemporary art gets shown. There is actually a gallery in the East End called the White Cube Gallery as well, but it's like your work needs to be shown in this kind of sterile environment. Okay, so and you kind of know what I mean by sterile, because Trevor went to a drawing group yesterday.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And at Charmwood Arts, which is a local charity, like on our doorstep. And we're getting into the territory of libel here. I don't know if this is libel. So I think you're allowed to say, like, the word that Trevor used to describe it was
stale. Yeah, but but if it did make me aware to something that that atmosphere might be good for the creative side. But I felt like as a new person walking in there, I should have been greeted with a little bit more happiness and something to make me feel a bit more comfortable. But yet people just sat there with their head down. It only takes 20 seconds, 10 seconds to lift your head up and say, oh, hello, or how can I help you? Or just saying, I don't know
if there's some like class coding going on there though, because you're talking about going into like an art space for the first time and like feeling welcomed, like like actively welcomed, like welcome, join us, but not feeling that, which in itself like a form of exclusion, just that everyone's quiet, you feel ignored, then you feel uncomfortable, you want to talk loudly, but no one else is, you want to laugh, oh no, are you too loud, is your work too brash, why is everyone's work so muted and subtle and conceptual, and like everyone else seems to understand it, why don't I, what are they on about?
I sat there for 5 minutes. No, 3 minutes. Then they gave me a bit of paper and said to me I could draw a feather if I want. And I sat there for about 2 minutes afterwards, and I got up and I said to my friend, I'm going to go and get some food. And I didn't go back. So,
you ran away.
Yeah, which was weak, but I didn't want to upset
This
anybody.
week, 'cause it's
you know?
interesting, like the drawing class, the drawing room, the intimidation the gatekeeping, the cultural gatekeeping that starts when you first go to art college and you're in the drawing room, and I've been in this experience, and I'm sure you have, Lyra, and it's deathly silent, and you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel relaxed, you don't really get it. It's like you're in some kind of weird exam, and then the art tutor comes over to you and tells you that you're drawing shit, and you're destroyed, or you don't even got that far. You can't even start the drawing, and like I say, like Trevor describes, he just had to leave that environment because it just didn't feel at all welcoming or comfortable for him. I'm just wondering though, Lyra, how those feelings have informed before we finish off this session of curiosity in the morning, how these experiences have informed your practice in a positive way.
I think I think I'm at a level of just like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and I don't really care too much about how people are going to interpret it, and I feel like as I get older and as I move through the art world, especially in London and whatever and stuff, I don't want to make things that are like palatable for other people. I don't want to subdue it down or tone it down, because why should I? Like, these people are making me feel excluded. These people, trying to push me out onto the side. So why should I just take that, take it, sit down? Like, I feel like my work is quite, it's a bit all over the place. Like, I do loads of different things. I make costumes, I do drawings, I write poems, I do performances, I do drag, I do painting. Like, it's all a bit of everything, you know what I mean? Like sculpture and stuff. And I feel like there's the underpinning of that is that it will always be loud. It'll always be like grabbing and trying to be in your face and stuff. I don't want to make something that's making someone feel settled, you know what I mean? And I think it makes me want to get out of bed in the morning and carry on making, you know what I mean?
Just to finish, and this is totally putting you on the spot, so feel free to say no. Have you got like a few lines you can tell us, something you can share with our listeners before we sign off?
Oh, I don't know if I've got anything with me at the moment, actually. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so annoying. I left my book in my studio.
Oh, no, that's all right. Maybe we can do that another time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been lovely to talk to you, Lyra. And I think
Thank
some
you.
of this is to do with
It's been lovely to talk to you as well.
the intense disappointment that occurs when you feel like, you say, you've had all these struggles and barriers, and you've managed to kind of overcome them, and you've got to university, and it's like your family are proud of you, and it's like this big hoop that you've jumped through, only to find that actually it's a bit of a myth, or it's not quite what you thought you'd signed up for. It's not the opportunity that it was sold to you it would be. Does that resonate?
100%, yeah, totally relate to that, yeah.
And that's really hard when you've come from a working class background, and you've pushed yourself financially, emotionally, intellectually, to get there, to then kind of discover that it's not quite the big break maybe that you thought it was going to be.
This space isn't for me, the way that they set it up, and even down to the way that they teach the tutorials and stuff. This space isn't for me. So I feel like that's why all throughout uni I was very combative and butting heads with all my tutors and a lot of people in my studio as well, because I just felt like, well, if this isn't for me, I'm not going to make anybody else feel comfortable, I don't want them to just be like, oh, that's very nice,
Right, stay on the line, Lyra. We're just going to stop the recording. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Waking Up Curious with Miffy Ryan. We were talking to Lyra Bowels. Lyra Bowles, originally from Nottingham, now living in East London, trying to make her way as a young graduate artist from a working class background, and just the difficulties with class suppression, being shut out of the language, the funds, the networks, the privileged few are guarding jealously and fanatically because they don't necessarily believe in sharing or spreading the wealth like we do.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much. That was so fun.
Cool. All right, Lyra, we're off tape. Oh dear. Do you like my radio voice? Waking up curious.
Wake up curious with Dr. Miffy Ryan. Asking questions keeps the spirit flying. Wake up curious, the world's replying. Every day's a riddle worth untying. Is the sky still blue or a shade I've never seen? Will I dance down the avenue or keep it serene? Does the world hold secrets tucked behind the green? I've got a mind full of why and how. Don't stop me now, don't stop me now. Wake up curious with Dr. Miffy Ryan. Asking questions keeps the spirit flying. Wake up curious, the world's replying. Every day's a riddle worth untying. Sun creeps on my pillow, soft and slow. Feet hit the floor, where will this morning go? Will it sparkle like diamonds, or be a shadow show? Wake up curious with Dr. Miffy Ryan. Asking questions keeps the spirit flying. Wake up curious, the world's replying. Every day's a riddle worth untying. Is the sky still blue or a shade I've never seen? Will I dance down the avenue or keep it serene? Does the world hold secrets tucked behind the green? I've got a mind full of why and how. Don't stop me now, don't stop me now. Wake up curious with Dr. Miffy Ryan. Asking questions keeps the spirit flying. Wake up curious, the world's replying. Every day's a riddle worth untying. Will the coffee taste like truth or sweet disguise? Is the mirror gonna show me brand new eyes? If I leap, will I fall or will I rise? Wake up curious with Dr. Miffy Ryan. Asking questions keeps the spirit flying. Wake up curious, the world's replying. Every day's a riddle worth untying. Is the sky still blue or a shade I've never seen? Will I dance down the avenue or keep it serene? Does the world hold secrets tucked behind the green? I've got a mind full of why and how. Don't stop me now, don't stop me now. Wake up curious with Dr. Miffy Ryan. Asking questions keeps the spirit flying. Wake up curious, the world's replying. Every day's a riddle worth untying. Will the coffee taste like truth or sweet disguise? Is the mirror gonna show me brand new eyes? If I leap, will I fall or will I rise? Or will I rise?